We are one.
Established in 1990, Micronesian Youth Services Network, or MISN, is a non-profit organization whose mission is to support, collaborate, coordinate, promote, and strengthen youth programs and services throughout Micronesia.
I think that MISN has been around since the late 80s and was formally incorporated in 1990. And the reason why it got together was the advocates and the people that were actually working with young people recognized that in order for us to be successful in our respective islands, we needed to come together and share resources.
Every year for the past 7 years, youth advocates from all over Micronesia gathered at a networking conference hosted by MISN.
Youth, service providers, policymakers, and political leaders all work side by side, sharing ideas on how to improve youth programs, find solutions to the issues our youth face, and develop programs to assist the needs of our community.
MISN's approach in educating the youth in the region, we really need to see how our message is impacting the youth. Are they taking the action? Are they taking what they've learned and taking the action in moving towards making the change towards improving their lives and the island and region?
Each year, a different Micronesian island is selected to hold the conference. And for the 8th conference, MISN chose a familiar location, the Republic of Palau.
I think it was in 2007 that MISN held its first conference here in Palau. I think what made it memorable the first time we were here was that it was the largest, most attended. We had over 500 people there.
Palau's unique blend of traditional and modern society highlighted one of MISN's biggest challenges: how to balance the modernization of island nations while keeping a firm hold on our cultural values, especially when it comes to the quality of youth and family services.
We're competing with advertisement, MTV, all of these technology. You know, they make the youth inactive. We need to figure out a way how to involve the youth to be active and to have healthy choices.
This change in traditional lifestyles has brought on a disturbing trend that's spreading through the islands: the rise of non-communicable disease, or NCDs.
Nowhere are the effects felt more than in Palau.
According to the World Health Organization, statistics for the year 2008, non-communicable diseases accounted for 74% of all deaths in Palau.
The theme this year is really around the prevention of non-communicable diseases. And Palau is certainly not only a leader in the region, but we believe in the world in terms of the work that they're doing in the prevention of communicable diseases.
That's why the theme of this year's conference was Carve It for a Healthier Lifestyle.
India, do you know?
So where are we? With the Carve It theme in place, the conference speeches, workshops, and activities provided a wide range of positive, self-empowering techniques on how to deal with the rising tide of NCDs.
Okay, the main issue that we are here today is because of the NCD that's going on. Anger does affect us physically, and many times when it affects you physically and mentally, there's a possibility and a good chance of you diverting yourself to drugs and alcohol.
I guess the main immoral about the no testing in todo sel sarm sel alu. Imomray nga kung usakli lo pang gala ako mangarang kaliasay. Yung mga rienda kan ano ano nila ba na pwede lang karamo mo diya kanon sel.
Accept yourself as you are. Don't try to be like me, don't try to be like her. Because if me and her will stand up and ask you, who's gonna be candidate for Miss Palau? What will you choose, me or choose her? But when you have to say, who is the speaker? I am the speaker.
You all know what the American dream is. It's a 3-bedroom house in the country with a 2-car garage, fast cars, hot dogs, baseball, and apple pie. I say to you today that the American dream is not the island dream. In fact, the American dream and the pursuit of it is hurting us.
I'm here today to tell you that we cannot do with less. We have to do more with more. And what I'm talking about is not money. I'm talking about the true treasure of MISSIN, and that is its people. We have to be more creative, more innovative, more communication among the network, more sharing of that information across the network, more partnerships, more families. And so for all of those who tell us that we need to do more with less, I say no. MISSIN will do more with more.
We get mixed messages. They say, oh, when we were young, we did this, but then on the other hand, they say, oh, you're too young, your opinion doesn't really count yet.
I challenge them to ask themselves and ask each other, tell me what you know, and tell me what you're going to do about it. That's kind of, I guess, the message I was trying to relate to them, is that there's so much that they can do as youth members in the community, and I wanted them to be able to embrace that and to take action.
Armed with new knowledge and new skills, it's time for the youth to carve it.
Ali, Roderick Menke.
Hi, Papa.
We're from the martial arts.
That was our main thing. Like, we came here because we really want to come and learn from Palawan and then take it back home. Like, because we compare like Pohnpei, Palawan, and they just did an amazing work, and everything's really. Yeah, we wanted to take it back home. Like, everything that we learn here, we want our young people to also learn the things that we learned back then.
Drugs, alcohol, eating disorders, teenage pregnancies, suicide. These are just some of the major challenges that youth face today. What causes these compelling issues? Why are youth the most vulnerable? Most importantly, what can we do to prevent these problems from overtaking the lives of adolescents?
I went to Singapore World Leadership Conference representing Pacific Islands. I bring back with me this message that I took from all of those conferences about lifestyle. I saw it fitting that this year's theme, Carve It, actually really fits into it. The theme about this year, do you care for your lifestyle?
The increase in the number of diabetic patients and the people at risk for diabetes is mainly due to the changes of lifestyle of the Marshallese population. With more than 40% of the total population of the RMI under the age of 15, this is seen as a disturbing trend.
Issues concerning the youth in the CNMI are examples of teen pregnancy, alcohol and drug abuse, bullying, and NCDs, especially diabetes.
By the time I get back, I have already planned a beautification and heat cleanup project that includes tree planting around all our communities and trying to bring back a healthier view for the younger generation.
2 years ago, the Youth Congress introduced a bill to ban cigarette smoking in public places, and it went on to the legislature and they did pass it.
For all the challenges present in the lives of youth, I think there is one very important solution. Youth should focus on education. Youth should work towards their education because it's for their future and it will bring a better tomorrow.
The road ahead might be tough, but it seems everyone young and old are motivated to make a difference.
We have the opportunity to provide a stronger foundation to our young people, who are our future clinicians, organization representatives, and government leaders. Today we take the opportunity to share what we know and issue a call to partner together as we journey forward with our common goal in mind.
One of the things that is also happening here in Palau, which is different from any other MISSIN conferences, in conjunction with Dr. Corte and the Ministry of Health and Micronesian Youth Center and the Office of Minority Health Resource Center, Henry Ocampos here from Washington, D.C., is we joined together and we are going to give a certificate to the youth that came for the whole 2 days. And they will have a certificate that says, that they are peer mentors in the prevention of non-communicable diseases. They should be able, after coming here for 2 days, to talk to other young people about things that they need to do to prevent NCDs from occurring.
With certificates in hand, the youth seemed eager and ready to face the challenges ahead.
What did you learn at this year's conference, MYSN conference?
A lot of things, actually. Especially the poetry. What was that? Yeah,
Poetry
pretty much.
is an expressive art.
Yeah, pretty much. It was informative, and I hope more youths could work together and, you know, make it huge the next time they come, Missing, and or in other places. Like the next time they're gonna go to Marshall, right? So hopefully we can all go. Not all, but you know, a lot of us can go attend that. Thank you.
As the conference came to a close, mission leaders took time to acknowledge their positive experience in Palau.
The Palau Planning Committee certainly showed us some things. For example, at our breaks, instead of having coffee and soda and caffeine and sugar-ridden products, there's water and there's fruit. And that's awesome. So those are the kinds of things I think that we can easily incorporate into just our Mission culture. So everywhere we go, that will be our practice. If it's in Guam, or if it's in Sinamai, or if it's in the FSM or in the Marshalls. So we're very, very thankful and pleased with the kinds of things that Palau has come up with.
My name is Stevenson Cuarte, Minister of Health for Palau. First of all, let me take this opportunity to congratulate MYSN for holding their 2012 conference here in Palau. Also would like to congratulate the organizers and the board members and the members of MYSN for having made the conference possible in Palau. And in particular, the sponsors who spend their time and their resources to support the youth of Micronesia. But in particular, I would like to raise an issue, which is the issue of NCD. I think NCD, or non-communicable diseases, to include diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke, is going to be the next disaster that's going to hit Micronesia region. And it's going to be a disaster that's going to be silent disaster. By the time it takes hold of all of us, it would be too late. It is beginning to happen. And the youth of Micronesia ought to take this warning very seriously. Because by the time it hits you, you'll be at the age of 30s or 40s, and by that time it'll be too late. To deal with this issue of NCD, I would like to just mention 3 or 4 things that may help you as you decide to deal with the issue. The first thing that I talked about during my keynote address was applied knowledge, the pursuit of applied knowledge. Dr. Wally Osman once said, and he's an economist from DOI, once said, in my view, the time has come to give serious consideration to making knowledge a basis of new economy. Because of that, I think the pursuit of knowledge will give you the tool to be able to make the right decisions, the appropriate decisions, and hopefully healthy decisions for your future. The second thing that I would like to talk about is spiritual knowledge, applied spiritual knowledge. But sometimes we get caught up in the language of appropriateness, where there is statements saying there needs to be a separation of church and state. In our traditional culture, that is impossible. My thinking is that the pursuit of morality, pursuit of justice, pursuit of social justice, and the pursuit of citizenry is based on our knowledge of what is right and wrong. These are based on our own beliefs, our own achieved worldview, and I think as Micronesian youth, you need to pursue spiritual knowledge. The third that I think you ought to pursue as a tool as you make this decision is a pursuit of applied cultural knowledge. Mr. Douglas Faulkner, in speaking to the Trusteeship Council, once said about Palauans, although there are clan and personality and economic differences, the people of Belao greet one another each morning in a language only common to them. If they are to survive as a people, the roots of their culture are to remain. They must work together towards a common goal more than any time in their history. If their common roots die, how will their breadfruit tree provide food for their hunger in the future? In other words, if we lose our culture, if we lose who we are, then how are we going to survive or make those decisions that are appropriate for us as Pacific people or as Micronesians? The last thing that I want to share with you is what Romant Matul, a statesman from Palau, once said about our educational system. And he said, first of all, it is to be a Micronesian-centered educational plan. And it should have at its base a primary school that focuses on the village life, family, language, and our customs. They should regain affinity to land and sea. The experiences and the courses of study in this community school should be directed toward our family life disciplines that are inherent in our nature. Man cannot learn about other people and feel part of a community of nations, and he cannot appreciate other cultures unless he knows his own culture and understand who he is. I think as Micronesian youth, we need to accept the fact that we are Micronesians. We need to accept the fact that we are island people. We need to accept the fact that we were given this heritage. How can this heritage help us to make the decisions that will be necessary for us to have a better life in the future? The burden of NC, the next disaster that's hitting Micronesia, can only be handled if we are to apply these three pursuits. These three things include the pursuit of applied knowledge, the pursuit of applied spiritual knowledge, and the pursuit of applied cultural knowledge.
Micronesian Youth Services Network envisions a future where youth, families, leaders, and communities all take a positive role in the issues that impact our lives today. So we'll have a better tomorrow.